Pierogies are a traditional Slavic food. A lot of Polish people and Ukrainian people, which we are. And my mother's been making these for years and years, and I used to watch her, but I really never made them with her. So when I got married to a Ukrainian, well, his mother made them also. And I actually learned through her how to make them. My first was a flop, the dough, and I ended up throwing it away before she would find out that I wasted all that flour and eggs. But anyway, I've learned, and everybody in the family likes them, so I've been making them for over 62 years. I'll try to tell you step by step how I go about it. So first I chop some onions. You fry them in a little bit of oil, and you have to watch them constantly because they have a tendency to burn. Bring the outside ones into the middle so all of them get brown more or less at the same time. If you cut your potatoes more uniformly in chunks, they'll all cook at the same time. I find that it takes about 20 minutes to cook. When they're done, when a knife goes in there, you know it's done. So you drain the potatoes. Now I'm going to put the cheese on to melt. So when the cheese is melted on the potatoes, you take them to the side and you mash them. You don't use electric mixer, you have to hand mash them. Now I'm adding some of those fried onions. You stir them in the potatoes while they're warm. I'm just going to make the balls for the pierogies. You roll them between your hands, your palms. I have a heavy fork that I use for this process. The eggs in the water, you just beat that. Now you add your flour. I usually start with 3 cups of flour, all at once. Blend everything in, just keep mixing. It's gonna need a lot more flour, but like I said, you just have to be patient. Now the dough looks awfully wet, but what I usually do, I put another cup of flour on my board and I pour this wet looking dough onto the flour. Now always put flour on your hands, it makes it a lot easier to work with. And just try to blend the flour into this wet dough and knead it. But it has to have a sort of a wet feel to it. You don't want to over flour it because then your pierogies will be real tough. It'll lighten up a little bit after it stands. Put the flour around the edges and let this stand for an hour and cover it. You want to make about 10 or 12 pierogies at one time. So your dough, like I said, is going to be a little bit tacky. So you flour your hands and take it out and put it on the board on some flour. Now coat it all with flour. So you just cut your dough and use that much to start making the pierogies. Flour your hands and flour your rolling pin and start rolling the dough. Now you could mix it, move it around, pick it up, move it around, because you want it to be a little more than 1/8 of an inch thick. And if you think that it's going to be too wet, flour the other side, and then you roll it again. So you make circles here, and you just go around and try to go as close to one another as you could, because that way you won't have too much wasted dough. You pick up one of the circles, you turn it upside down onto your left hand, and you get one of the balls. Flatten out the potatoes. With your thumb, make an indentation and fold it over and pinch the edges. Now flour the bottom and put it on the towel. Flatten your potato. With your thumb, make a better crease and pinch the edges. Now see, that might have a little bit of dry flour there. So what you do is you just moisten the edge and that will seal it. I usually do it, go over it 1 or 2 times. I'm going to put the pierogies into the boiling water. After you put them in, you give it a little stir to make sure that none are sticking on the bottom. And then you time how long they're going to cook. Some people like to fry them till they get golden brown, but when you first make them, most people like them just freshly made. Well, we just got finished making the pierogies. We made 1.5 dozen, and they were cooked and we promptly ate them. They were so tasty. So whoever's going to try to make them, don't be afraid of the dough. Just take your time and work with it and enjoy it, and you'll enjoy a delicious meal for your family when you make them. Okay, now I have to get ready to go because my grandson's leaving and I have to give him the 14 dozen pierogies that he ordered. Bye!